My name is Sarah Williams. I fit a lot of the categories of normal that American stereotypes and culture expect from a middle class, white, 18-year-old girl. Even my name is about as normal as it comes. Sarah Elizabeth Williams. Nothing hard to pronounce about that. I was born into a stable, two parents, three kids family. I have a boyfriend, I don't really know what I want to do with my life, and I am a generally optimistic person. So, in trying to dissect a part of my personality or identity that defines me more than anything else, I struggled with finding something in my life that seemed significant enough to talk about. 2 years ago, I went to China and loved it so much that I visited again just a few months ago, in the spring of 2012. Since my original trip, I've become fascinated with learning about Chinese culture. However, being there and focusing on learning about this people and culture, I ended up learning more about myself in some ways than about them, and many aspects of my own identity and culture stood out to me more clearly than before. There, I stuck out as physically different. My whiteness, and even my height, were obvious reminders of my foreign background. But not only that, it became clear to me that this culture, which was so rich in its history, and these people who were so closely linked to their family histories, were very much different from me. I hardly knew anything about my family history or the cultures and traditions that might have been a part of that history. Being in China helped me realize how little I previously defined my identity based on my race and ethnicity, but how nevertheless it is still something definitional to who I am. Not only that, but because of my race, I was quickly labeled as the rich foreigner. If not rich through money, rich in opportunity, since after all, most Chinese have never traveled outside their province, much less outside the country. This led me to consider how blessed I was through my circumstances and abilities, and just through living in America. Being born in America, America is all I've ever known, and I realized I've taken for granted what being an American can mean. In a world where English is becoming the predominant language of business, I speak English as my first language. I never considered how much of an advantage, and even a blessing, this was before I went to China and met students who were desperate for opportunities to practice their English in order that they might have a brighter future. For this reason, they were willing to talk about anything, from the weather to their ambitions, from their families to their favorite foods. Because I've become good friends with several girls I met there, this spring a few senior English majors asked me for help editing their senior theses. It was incredible to see how my ability to speak English could be so helpful to them and bridge the gaps that culture and context created. My faith is very important to me. Spending time in China, where any religion considered foreign is heavily regulated and frowned upon, I realized how often I take it for granted that I've grown up a Christian in America, where I have the freedom to practice and preach whatever religion I want. There, religion can be a very tense subject, and Christians especially are often censored and watched by the government. I am very grateful that being an American means I can practice whatever religion I want, without the same type of caution and fear Chinese Christians live with. What I look like, my family history, my language, religion, and culture are all definitional to who I am as a person, as Sarah Elizabeth Williams. Going to China helped me realize more than ever before how much these aspects of my race and ethnicity are intrinsic to my overall identity. So perhaps the normalcies of my American girl life are, in fact, interwoven and underwritten parts of my identity due to my race and nationality as American. But whatever they may be, I am continually grateful for all I learned in China, both about myself and about the world.